Hello and welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny. How you doing today, Joanna?
I'm okay, as you know. I'm okay.
We're pretty in pink, the both of us, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We are ready for April. Can you believe it's April? What?
It's kind of crazy, especially because what I received. Well, I'll do that after you, but what I received about April. And I'm trying not to make sense of it. Like, I'm really trying not to make sense of
Right.
it. Just let the information flow. So, yeah, it ought to be interesting. It's also my birthday. So that's a portal. I guess we could see it that way. So, yeah, let's go for it. Let's see what's happening
Okay.
in April.
So I'm just going to give a recap. We're going to go down memory lane a little bit when we look at the April energy. And I will start by saying that April is a massive initiation for us.
Thank you for validating what I just wrote. Thank you.
Is
And
that what
Jenny
you
and
wrote,
I,
Joanna? Is that what you wrote?
what I wrote was crack open, because the words are crack open. So just for you guys, if you don't know, we don't compare notes. When we literally sit, Jenny brings her stuff and I tune in and bring my stuff. And then I'm always surprised when Jenny corroborates what I received, because I don't know. I don't
I
know.
love it.
I'm just supposed to give. So the fact that she said this and I kind of smiled, it's like ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Ding, ding,
Confirmation.
ding,
Confirmations are good. Okay. Continue.
ding, ding, ding. Okay, so like I say, I'm going to go down a little trip down memory lane first, just for us to be able to understand. If we can understand it a little bit, it's hard to understand. And we were talking about that earlier, right before popping on this call. Was trying to understand the energies is maybe not coming in 110% at the moment. And then at the end of April, that's right, Joanna's birthday. It's going to be something else. So I'm going to go through it all. I'm going to go through it all. And I know I'm sounding dramatic the way that I pause my words, this and that, but that's we're in something new here, folks. You know, there's no doubt about it. This is new energy. We haven't experienced this yet. And for us energetically sensitive souls, we're all feeling this. Why we're not sleeping. That's why we feel the way we feel. We got the little ascension symptoms, shall we call it? It's nothing serious, but we all like whatever it is, like the runny nose, like it's like what they ring at the ear, the thing on the arm, like what? Because we're just trying to acclimate. We're just trying to acclimate. And this is a huge initiation month. So again, sounding very dramatic and purposefully so. How's that? How's that, Joanna, before I start reading?
If I can, well, you're delivering a message which has an
Yep.
oomph about it. So yes,
Right.
naturally you're using specific ways to communicate it. But as you were talking about it, what I got very, very clearly was not easy to do. The less we try to interpret this energy, the better, because we don't have a frame of reference for it.
This is it. That's exactly it. Like, we
We
haven't
haven't
done
been
this
there
yet.
before. Yes, we haven't
We
been
haven't
there.
done this yet.
And I don't know for Joanna, I don't know what that means. I'm just giving you what's
Right.
coming through. We haven't been there yet. And it's frequency based. It's
Yeah.
frequency based, right? And because we
But
can't see
it takes some
frequency,
tweaks.
we can't
No.
control it, right?
Yeah.
So the big old word, we just have to trust it with our discernment, of course, right? So the less we try to interpret it, the better. But my mind wants to interpret it just like everybody
Yeah,
else's
yeah.
minds wants
No,
to
and that's
interpret.
fine. And we're not
Nothing wrong
poo-pooing
with
the
that.
mind. We're not poo-pooing the
No,
mind. It's
not at
just,
all.
I give a forecast. It's like the weather. It's going to be rainy all week for us up here in the soggy Pacific Northwest. It just
Mm.
is, right? And we know that we need to be wearing our rain jackets. So, like, I'm
We
just
just
giving
have
you
to
a
accept it.
forecast.
We just have to accept it.
I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm seeing. I see it as, you know, a trained astrologer, but also I'm intuitively reading into the energies. And I'm telling you, we don't know this energy yet. So
And
it's
what
a
you're
forecast.
It's exactly, and what you're saying with the rain analogy, even though I don't prefer rain. Like, rain is important, but not like 24/7. Okay.
Mhm.
But what with your forecast and the rain analogy, yes, it's going to rain for the next 2 weeks. I can get mad about it. I can get angry about it. I can try to control the rain. Good luck. The only thing I can do is, okay, do I bring an umbrella? Do I stay home? Do I want to go outside? Do I want to stay in? It's what do we do within that environment,
Mhm. That's
right?
exactly it.
Yeah, that's it. You literally are forecasting the weather.
And
right?
here it is.
Yeah.
April is a month of sacred initiation. I've got some writing. I'm going to read through it. Of course, you can cut me off at any time you want, Joanna. I'm just going to talk about April before we go into the all signs forecast, okay? So I just want you to imagine that the last few months have been like a 3-act initiation ceremony. Act 1 was February 20th that we talked about on this podcast ad nauseum, okay? Act 1. This was the Saturn and Neptune. They met together at 0 Aries. So, like elders at the threshold of a new world, this is the reality and the dream. They shook hands at the very first spark of the Zodiac, that 0-degree Aries mark, okay? Whether we noticed it or not, a seed was planted on February 20th. Okay, so a quote here that comes to mind is, life cannot go back to how it was. We are rewriting the real and we are creating the new. So that was Act 1.
Mm.
Act 2, March 20th. That was the spring equinox. This is also when the sun came across that 0-degree Aries mark, that same mark that happened on February 20th when Saturn and Neptune came there. Now the sun, that's the soul, that's the brightest luminary, that is the soul's path. The sun hits that 0-degree Aries mark on March 20th. And then Mercury kissed the North Node because Mercury, that has been in retrograde, stationed direct on March 20th. And it went right beside the North Node. And the sky whispered to us, remember, you came here with a mission. Let me remind you of your script. Okay? Some people heard this very clearly. Some people remembered who the fuck they were on March the 20th. Others just felt restless and they felt emotional. And they were suddenly unable to tolerate what was once fine. Act 3, April. Now we're in it. April doesn't ask politely, it initiates. So we begin with a full moon in Libra on April 2. And this is a bright mirror held up for our relationships. Because if we haven't got our relationships right, if we are not in the right relationships yet, we need to get in right relationship with ourselves. And this full moon is going to be nasty for those of us that haven't got into right relationship with ourselves and with others yet. So again, not trying to be fear-based at all, but that's how it's coming in strong on the second day of April. Our relationships are going to ask us, if you truly stand in your I am power, which is Aries energy, which is what we're in now. If you truly stand in the I am proudly, what changes is what is going to change in how you relate and you compromise or how you people please? Because if you're standing in your I am presence and you have remembered who the heck you are, there will be no more people pleasing. There will be no settling
Or
anymore.
overcompensating or
Or
overcompensating.
or like performing in any of your relationships. I don't care if it's your husband or if it's your best friend or if it's that gal at work that you've been just dancing around it. It reveals where we've been over accommodating, under honest, or hiding our desires to keep the peace. Okay, so that's the very beginning of the month, and it's going to be a relationship focus, okay? Then in mid-month, the energy concentrates into a blazing focal point. So it's going to be around April 17th. This is when the new moon is in Aries, and it arrives with a heavy Aries overload, okay? We've got the sun, we've got the moon, we've got Mercury, we've got Neptune, we've got Saturn, and Chiron. Sun and Chiron are conjunct right before the new moon on the 17th. So this is like a spiritual boot camp
Is
for the
Chiron
new
the
leader.
healer? Is Chiron the healer?
Chiron's the wounded healer.
Okay.
Chiron's the wounded healer. Sun's
So
right there. And then the new
wounds
moon
will
with
come
all
up.
that, all
Okay.
the old stuff. So hopefully you took note from that full moon that was early month, because what's coming up mid-month, this is the new leader. the birth of the new leader. And that's what Saturn and Neptune was birthing, by the way. That's one of the many things it's been birthing, is totally new spiritual leaders. We've seen the fall of the false guru. We've talked about it here on the podcast. And there's going to be a new leadership archetype being born here. So no more of the old warrior who conquers and dominates and overpowers others. Nope. The new warrior is going to find the truth in courage and in vulnerability and go within. So this mid-April moment can feel like on a high road, in high vibe, like a surge of purpose, clarity, soul-aligned bravery, shadow vibe of all of this energy in mid-April. War, rage, tantrums, blame, burnout. So at the end of the month, April 25th, not only is it Joanna's birthday, this is another major door opening. This is the Uranus entering Gemini, and it flips the switch in the collective mind. Okay, so information's going to speed up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like never before. Narratives are going to move quick, and our nervous systems are going to be lit up. Okay, so I'm asking you now, before it all hits, okay? Is your mindset and nervous system prepared to surf this wave of change? Or will you scatter into overthinking and conflict and fighting, and it's going to be so fast? And are we going to see mental illness? And we're already seeing the rise in that. So April's mantra for the collective might sound something like, you have been initiated. Now, will you lead from your healed heart or from your unhealed anger? This is a month to honor your I am power. That is the highest vibe of Aries, the I am. And we talked about that in our last podcast as well. I am the light. I am an innocent soul. Let the Libra full moon show you what relationships look like when you don't abandon yourself. Use the Aries new moon to take a single brave step, because it's going to get you into alignment with your soul. Welcome that Uranus in Gemini by tending to your nervous system and curating your thoughts so that you can ride the acceleration rather than be completely shredded by it. And there we have it. An overview of April, and I know it sounds like a lot. Before I get into the all 12 signs for this energy, and I'm going to go through what I'm going to highlight for each sign. What's coming through for you, Joanna, in regards to the energy for April?
So as you were talking, I felt the need to draw a triangle, and there was February, March, and April at the top, and the word I wrote is crescendo. So when things come to head, and it has to do in terms of our awareness of ourselves. Now, awareness is always something that constantly grows. It's not like we're aware tomorrow and that we're aware of everything, because we can't be, right? But awareness is something that constantly unfolds. So about half an hour ago, when I kind of tuned in, we're going to talk about what patterns are going to be releasing, which goes hand in hand with what you were talking about. And April being a month of cracking open. Ideas around purpose and choices, and having more confidence around choices around one's purpose. I'm trying not to formulate what that means for me. In fact, when you hear that from me, what comes to you, Jenny?
Soul's purpose.
Yes.
That's what comes to me.
Yeah. In fact, alignment with your higher vision. Greater alignment with higher vision, more energetic alignment with higher vision of yourself. So I said, what's a higher version of ourselves? And what I received was, well, a higher version of yourself is more relaxed and more relaxed about the future. So it's hard to relax about the future with everything that's going on. But when we have a more regulated nervous system, we can relax just a little bit more. And that's the goal. If everybody who's listening woke up tomorrow morning and you were relaxed about life more by 10, 20%, wouldn't that make life a little bit easier? Of course it would, because we wouldn't be so stressed. right? So it looks like April is almost like a pinnacle, a crescendo where what I've just described becomes possible. It's not a given, but it becomes possible. And it becomes possible when we resist less of what's going on. It doesn't mean we agree with everything what's going on, but unless we can change what's going on, our choice is to either fight it or to accept it. And so whatever that means to each person as you're listening, for me, thank you. For me, what's coming through is the words, imagine living a life less performance-based. When you no longer feel like you have to perform to be loved, to be liked, to be accepted. If we imagine being in that space and we drop the performance, which means when we drop the performance, we automatically become more authentic human beings, which means we naturally live more from the heart, not just from the head, but from the heart. However, if we resist what's going on, we're going to be doing this. So it's an opportunity for us to become more embodied, but it's not a given. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. Yeah, because no one can I can't force Jenny to be embodied. Her nervous system decides whether she's going to feel safe in the body or not. And if she's holding on to a lot of, as an example, if she's holding on to a lot of fear-based stories, her nervous system is not going to relax because it's orienting around the idea of unsafety. Right? Now, how do we feel safe living in an unsafe world? That's tricky, isn't it? But the more safety we feel on the inside, the less unsafe we feel on the outside. We still feel some unsafe, but it's less. We're more relaxed about it. And it sounds weird, doesn't it? We're more relaxed about the idea of unsafety. It doesn't make sense. But when the nervous system is oriented more around safety and security, we'll naturally relax. And we become more embodied human beings. An embodied human being doesn't An embodied human being doesn't ask for permission to exist. That's a metaphor. An embodied human being doesn't ask for permission to exist. It doesn't constantly seek outside validation. Because an embodied human being not only understands who or he or she is, he or she knows. It's a lived experience. It's a not thought process, it's a lived experience. So I feel like this is saying we are potentially in a space where we can become more embodied human beings. And I just recorded a video on different stages. Embodiment is the 5th stage. And I want to be there. Like, yes, tomorrow, please, tomorrow. But it's a process, right? We don't drop into the body until the nervous system feels safe. So I suspect a lot of things are going to come up. Interestingly enough, the 25th of April, I am actually in Sedona. So I will be in a very amplified field. So it'll be interesting to see what comes up for me. Does that make sense what I said?
Oh, yeah. Great place to have your solar return. And yeah, I mean, this Aries energy, it's a lot of Aries energy. It's a lot. And so, high vibe in Aries is childlike. Very shadow vibey Aries is childish. So we're seeing that around us. A lot of very childish behaviors. Okay. And it's going to amplify. And so we just need to know that these people are supposedly adults and they're having a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old. It's like this new world is coming in, this new energy, this new paradigm, whatever it is you want to label it and call it. It's coming in hot with Aries energy. Aries is a fire sign. And I just feel like this is the initiation month of it. We've been training and talking and coaching about this 0-degree Aries mark for so long on this podcast that it is now here and it is coming in so hot, and we're going to have extreme remembrance of that innocence within. We're going to connect the heart and the mind. We're going to finally be calm enough to jump on that fire horse and go into the newer. And then there are going to be others who are not. And so this is sort of the division month. This is it. This is happening. It's now happening. And we're going to see it. And we're already seeing it around us. So it makes a lot of sense that, we're seeing some people that are embodied and some that are not. And it's sad. It's
Yeah.
upsetting, whatever,
Yeah.
when you start to
Yeah.
realize these people you've been friends with since, 1992
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
coming. They're not with you. And, it's okay. And it's all okay. And we're all on our own journeys. This is the initiation month, and it is exciting. And we were born for this, and we're here for this. So this is why we do these forecasts. This is why we tell you maybe how this is your sun, your rising, your moon, your north node might feel and interpret and experience this energy. And so that's why we do these forecasts for you. Hopefully they hit
Yeah.
home. We would love to see your comments.
What I'm also hearing you say is that don't fight or resist that which is on its way out. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Jenny and I didn't talk about this, but I'll share an experience I had this weekend.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I lost my cat, as Jenny knows. She was almost 18 years old. Obviously, it was very difficult. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I could have held on to her, poking her with needles, trying to figure out what's wrong with her, even though her organs were failing. So I could have done other things. But I said to myself, I cannot make her suffer. I won't make her suffer.
Yeah.
So even though there was no part of me that wanted to let her go, I had no choice. I had to let her go. And it was painful. It still is painful. It's difficult. It's sad. It's so many things, but I have to let her go.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that anyone is going to lose anything. I'm simply saying this is the experience that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't really experience too many, thank God, losses for us people and animals, this one touched me in a very deep way. With anything that is leaving us, there's always a process of mourning the loss,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your home, whatever it may be. We are emotional people. We need to allow the emotion and feelings to move through. But thank you. Here's what I want to say. When I was sitting on my couch and I was just like, oh, so much grief. My husband said, let's go for a walk. I'm like, no, I feel like I need to sit with it. Like I need to sit with it. And I just said, just let me have it. I just was present with the pain. And I don't know how to explain it. I tried to explain it to Jenny. It's like something cracked me open because I wasn't avoiding the pain. And what cracked open was almost a deeper layer within my own heart. And I get chills as I'm saying this. So
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, what I feel the message that wants to come through is by accepting the loss and not ignoring or trying to deflect or bypass the feeling, something in me has activated to a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank her for that, because perhaps without her leaving this, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have that experience. But it's very difficult for me to put it in towards what I feel because it's energetic. I literally felt more expanded. And I said to my husband, I said, isn't it interesting that both birth and pain and death crack your heart open
Mm-hmm.
if you let it? Obviously, birth, we can't help it. With death, well, but if you can allow yourself to crack open, it's like you reach the layer underneath what has been. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I felt like I needed to share that for some
Thank you.
reason.
Nothing cracked my heart open more than after my dad died. And I
Yeah.
actually wrote a post about it over the weekend as well. So you lost your cat on the weekend, and I did a post on the weekend, and I wrote a letter to my younger self, my 18, 19, 20-year-old self, right? And going back there and doing that inner child healing, it was that remembrance that my heart opened for the first time when he died.
Mm,
And that put me on my
yeah.
path as to
I,
where I am now.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, because what's coming through right now is,
Hmm.
I've done this before. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. People say, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? Sometimes the purpose is revealed through something very difficult. So you just beautifully stated
Ooh,
that your heart cracked open and you wouldn't be doing what you were doing and what you're
there's
doing
no
right
way.
now if that wouldn't have happened.
It never would have even occurred to me to go into the
Yeah,
school of social work and sit with
yeah,
people's pain and help them heal through their grieving process. It never
yeah,
would have even occurred to me to do what I do now.
yeah.
So thank
And
you to that heart opening experience.
yes, and I feel like I want to say this to everybody, regardless of what sign you are. If there is some pain that you're still holding on to because you have been unwilling to look at it
Hmm.
or felt
Yeah.
unsafe to look at it, for some of you, not for all of you, facing it, being present with it, as heart wrenching as it can be sometimes, I have this feeling that it's going to unlock your quote unquote purpose. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I
it's a big
wouldn't be
month.
here. I wouldn't be here without my experiences. I
No
just
way.
wouldn't be. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So something that's on the outside seems terrible in the moment, often is a blessing in the sky, but we can't
Yes.
see it in the moment. We can only see it hindsight.
Took me a long time to see it. It
Yeah,
was years. The grieving process does take a while, and it doesn't have
of
to
course.
take years for everyone else, but it doesn't matter what you're losing. You might lose a parent, you might lose a human, you might lose a cat, but you also might lose a job.
Yeah,
You almost
exactly.
might you lose a marriage. Like, you need to
Friendship.
grieve
Yeah,
a friendship.
absolutely.
You need to grieve stuff that leaves. Yep. I've learned that.
Yeah,
I've learned
yeah.
that.
Think about it this way. It came to me earlier. When you have something or someone in your life organizes around it in some way. When it's gone, all of a sudden you become a little bit
Hmm.
discombobulated, because it's like now you have to organize yourself outside of what was.
Yeah.
It's a little bit disorienting at first, because it's like, we're used to having, I come downstairs and I expect my cat to be there. And it's like, oh, I have to reorient myself. It's like my
Yep.
nervous system has to learn to be without it. That takes
Right.
time. It's a
It takes time.
process. Yeah. And everybody honor whatever the process is for you, and whatever, job, whatever it may be, honor the process. You're not supposed to not feel. That's why you're here, to have a feel experience in a human body. Yeah. So I suspect a lot of feelings are going to be coming up over the next little while. All
On an
right.
initiation month like this. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we ready? The all 12 signs. I just wanted to say that I'm going to look at 5 different. Since this is such an initiation month, this is such a big month. I'm going to look at 5 things for each of the sign. Now I'm going through Aries through to Pisces. Listen for your sun sign. That is your soul. That is your soul's journey. And also, when you become a little bit of an older adult, usually the sun sign, once you hit mid-age and forward, you're following your soul because you've learned all these life lessons that Joanna and I were just talking about. You've gained a bit of wisdom, hopefully, 50 years plus ish. And so the sun sign really does resonate because we really are following our soul, and the sun is our soul in our natal birth chart, and wherever it falls in your natal birth chart. So, and then rising sign you're listening to, I always say listen to that one first because that shows the area of life that it's hitting for you.
Mm.
The moon sign is your internal world. It's your feelings. It's your emotions. Okay. Joanna always throws in the North Node, which I love because the North Node is your North Star. So if ever you're confused, it's like, oh, well, I like this, that, and the next. Well, maybe you need to look at where the North Node is collectively. So right now it's in Pisces, early degrees, right? And I was talking about how Mercury and the North Node are stationing at 8 degrees Pisces on the equinox day. So
Mm.
that has already happened when you're listening to this. But think back to the day of the equinox, March the 20th, and think back to like, oh yeah, did I get a massive hit on that day of knowing, remembering, fuck, I am, because that's what
Mhm.
that day is really offering for all of us. So yeah, you can listen to the North Node as well. I'm going to look at these 5 things for all of the 12 signs. We're going to look at the Libra full moon. That's a relationship mirror. The second thing, we're going to look at that February 20th initiation. Yes, we're going to revisit that. We're going to also revisit that March 20th initiation. Yes, we're going to revisit that. We're going to look at the mid-April Aries overload and new moon energy for number 4. And number 5, we're going to look at that end of April Uranus into Gemini that hits on Joanna's birthday. Okay. So that's just a look at what I'm going to do for each of the signs. Joanna's going to take a card and do an energetic read after I do my astrology update for each of the signs. How are we feeling? Are we feeling like we're ready to go for Aries, Joanna?
Yeah, before we go, what's convergence mean? See, I get these words. I've heard them
You
before,
get a
but
word. Let's
yeah,
Google it.
what's
Yeah,
convergence?
convergence. Converging, it's like conjunct. It's like
Coming
together,
together,
isn't it?
coming together. Yeah,
Doesn't it
that's
mean
what
it?
that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, converging, yeah.
Um,
Joining. She's Googling, folks. Talk amongst yourselves.
sorry. It's gonna
Okay.
bug me if I don't.
Okay, it's going to kill her before we
Convergence.
start for Aries, and I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Because it's a message for the collective,
Okay.
and the word is meaningful to everybody. Literally, yes, convergence means things coming together and moving toward the same point or result. Think of it as separate paths gradually meeting. Okay,
Mm.
coming home to ourselves
I'm
is
in.
what I get.
Let's
Yes.
do this.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. Go for it.
Aries. 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 Woohoo. Aries. Yep. Okay, number 1, that Libra full moon. This is your relationship mirror, Aries. Okay. So you stand more fully in your I am presence, and suddenly partnerships show you where you've been shrinking or overcompensating. Old patterns of anger, then apology may flare up so that you can see them clearly. Reflection. Reflect on this, Aries, at the time of the Libra full moon. If I lead from my authentic desire, who actually meets me? And who only liked me small? Whew. As an Aries person, I definitely have faced that over my life. Okay, the second thing we're looking at for Aries is that February 20th initiation. So, of course, I'm talking about when Saturn and Neptune came together at the 0-degree Aries mark on February 20th. This was a deep subterranean shift in your very identity. That's when it began. Okay. There was a quiet knowing an old version of me is over. So the long-term roles and labels and even the body image started to dissolve for you, Aries. Okay, let's look at that March 20th equinox, Aries. Oof, this is the Aries, beginning of the Aries season. So you know this. You got a very clear message on this March 20th equinox hit. Ideas and words and conversations highlighted who you are here to be. You might have had a flash which said to yourself, this is the direction. This is my next chapter. Okay, and now the fourth point for you, Aries, we're going to look at that mid-April Aries new moon. So this is your rebirth portal. Let's be honest. Okay, Aries, that's what this is for you. This feels like you're standing at the edge of a cliff with a harness and you can't even see where you're going. Okay. Old wounds about being too much or too selfish or too impulsive are going to arise thanks to Chiron. And you're going to be asking yourself, can you lead anyways, with tenderness for those wounds? It's an ideal time for you to declare a new identity. Launch something that has your face and your name on it. And then number 5, that Uranus into Gemini that's happening on April 25. So your mind is going to speed up, Aries, okay? New ideas, conversations, short trips, and learning opportunities are going to crack. If underground, so if it's in the shadow vibe of this energy, Uranus going into Gemini, over talking, argument cycles around and around in a circle, mental overwhelm for you. But if you're tuned into this energy, if you're doing the high vibe of this energy, this is brilliant insights. This is fast networking. This is quantum leaps in your thinking. So an Aries mantra for the month of April: I am brave enough to be fully myself, even if it changes who walks beside me. Take it away, Joanna.
All right. So this is a month of letting go for you guys, for Aries. But I approached today's session with asking, what can I share with everybody who's watching in terms of what potentially they can get let go of in the month of April, or at least starting in the month of April. So for Aries, the words self-responsibility first. And I said, what does that mean? And a statement that came through was, I matter in this scenario. So this speaks directly to your worth and your value. So I suspect there will be some old stories coming up to the surface around your worth or value. Okay. Now, when I said, when the field said, you matter, I said, my ego said, well, why do I matter? I'm being Aries right now. And the message came, you matter just because. You matter just because you are. That's it. No explanations required. Now, there's something in that frequency. You matter just because. Well, no, you do just because. No validation required. No permission required. No need to beg for forgiveness from some outside God. You matter just because. It's a very simple but very statement. Letting go of distrust, whether it's distrust toward yourself or distrust toward others. Now, this message doesn't say go and trust everybody. No. Use your discernment. Use your wisdom. Don't be foolish. That would not be smart. So be more childlike, not childish. Someone who's childish throws a tantrum. Childlike is open. There's a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of heart healing. So that's beautiful. Again, lots around self-worth. Be more in nature if you can, okay? And welcome a new expression coming in for you. So there is some new ways of expressing your soul is ready to express more of its true nature, true self through you. The question is, will you allow it? So the card is called seek, but I don't really look at the word. Although you did say something about the word seek or look, or right? So this is just being, to me, it speaks a lot to nature, to heart, the messages that I got, being open to new expression. And dare I say the word trusting? I mean, we talk about that word a lot, and it's like, but think of it this way. If we didn't trust anything or anyone, we're screwed. You trust your home to be there tomorrow, because if you didn't, you'd be in stress 24/7. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean trust blindly. That's different. So a lot of healing coming through. There's a contemplative space here. And 9 to me as a number represents letting go. But notice, if this person is letting go of something, this person is doing it with peace. They're not fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's your belief system, whether it's your old identity, that's a big one. Okay. Whether it's something else, whatever wants to be released, just allow it. Because there's something you're almost ready to tap into. And it's like, the image is like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon and its butt is stuck. It can't quite get there. It feels like a month of April is like it's like a push. So Eugenia will have to let me know how that goes for you.
Beautiful. Taurus. Okay, let's look at the Libra full moon. This is going to be a relationship mirror for you. So you're going to be looking at your daily life, your work, and your body rhythms. And they're going to reflect back to you. Where do you overserve without honoring your own needs? Relationships at work or in service roles show if if you lead or if you just endure it all. You need to reflect on this. If I truly honor my energy, how do my service and relationships change? Okay, now let's talk about that February 20th initiation with the Saturn and Neptune at 0 Aries. So this was a seed that was
Mm.
planted in your unconscious in your spiritual life. Okay. So old karma, hidden fears, and buried grief began to soften. Subtle but real. So a sense that your private and your inner world needs a new template. Let's talk about that March 20th equinox point. So you received these whispers, perhaps. In dreams or synchronicities or in quiet moments, you remembered your spiritual truths. And there was a sense of my soul is calling louder than my comfort zone. The fourth thing, the mid-April Aries new moon and all that Aries energy, okay? This was gathering in your hidden house. So this is intense subconscious purging. So you may feel emotional, tired, and raw at that mid-April point. So old anger and self-betrayal might surface for release. And this is the perfect window for retreat, for ceremony, or deep healing. And then that fifth point for you, that Uranus into Gemini end of April. This is your money and your self-worth getting electric. So fast shifts in your income or how you value your time. If underground, so in the shadow vibe of this energy, money anxiety will be real bad. Impulsive spending, scarcity spirals. Okay. But if you're tuned in on the high vibe of this energy, innovative income streams, liberated relationship to resources. Here's your mantra for April, Taurus. I am brave enough to value my energy as sacred. What did you get for Taurus?
First message is face yourself, whatever that means. We can do another podcast on that. Compromise, but don't overpromise or overcompromise. Less rigidity. I'm like, yay for that, because the ego wants to control. More quiet confidence emerging. Who doesn't like that? I'll take it. Less self-sabotage. We all do it. Less, I'll take it. Speedy conflict resolution. So if some of you who resonate with Taurus have some sort of a conflict with somebody, it looks like you might experience a speedy conflict resolutions. However, be willing to compromise. So there's a message about compromising coming through. That does not mean giving your power away or ignoring your needs and desires, but let's look at it this way. There is no relationship of any kind if we're too rigid and we don't compromise. So whether it's relationship with money, whether it's relationship with yourself, whether it's relationship with a loved one, colleague, friend, whatever it may be, speedy conflict resolution is possible, but you have to be willing to be a little bit less rigid. Okay. Third eye chakra came up. So to me, this speaks of a lot more clarity in the vision, seeing and visioning. And what you're letting go of is the idea that you will not succeed what you set your mind on. So this says succeed, believe and succeed, shown to me in reverse. And so there's resistance to it. So this is what many of you will be letting go of. If you have some grand vision for yourself, but there's a part of you that doesn't believe in it, then your energy, you're not going to put all your energy in it because, well, you don't want to prove to yourself that it's not going to succeed. So this is about looking at limiting how you limit your own vision for yourself. And we do that so unconsciously, it's not even funny. Oh, this is not going to work. Or that's right. Also, the whole idea of being flexible. And thank you. Okay, so this is a very timely example because just the other day, I've said many times now that hosting a retreat in Peru. It was set for June. And then on Saturday, I got a call. There was a conflict with scheduling, and they said they can't host me on my group on June.
Oh,
But I was like, okay. And I felt relieved. Normally I would go, oh my God. But it was like, no, I was actually surprised how I just went, okay, no problem. So
nice.
I accepted it.
Yeah.
Literally 2 minutes later, I heard September. It's like, oh, okay. So this was not the right timing.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I trust the process. But if I was rigid, I would have said, no, I need this date. My mind would be like, oh my God, why is this not happening? Instead, it's like, okay, then it's obviously not the most optimal time. Does it make sense
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've told you, end of July, it'll be here. The new world, the new era, the new paradigm, the new
Mm,
earth.
mm.
End of July, it's here. We're preparing, all of 2026 is preparing us for the end of July. So September's perfect timing because it'll be like August. They'll be like, oh my God, it's here. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I need to integrate this in September. Makes perfect sense to
Interesting.
me.
Okay. Now that makes so much sense.
Makes
See,
so much sense.
I didn't know anything about this stuff. So thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Taurus. Beautiful. Gemini, Libra full moon. This is going to be a reflection mirror. So your heart, creativity, and romantic life become a mirror. So where do you dim your joy for others' comfort? How you negotiate fun, affection, and attention in relationships is going to come up for you. The reflection for you at this Libra full moon: if I lead with my true joy, who celebrates and who competes or withdraws? Give that a little look, Gemini. The February 20th initiation for you, Gemini, that was the Saturn Neptune at 0 Aries. This was a new script that started in your community and your future dreams. Okay. So old friend groups or networks began feeling outdated. And you were sensing my future path belongs with different people. So the March 20th equinox point, that 0 degree Aries sun portal, you heard this call, perhaps conversations with friends, business visions, or social media insights gave you some clarity. The future felt more specific. So, an idea of the kind of world you want to help build dropped in for you, Gemini. Now, let's talk about that mid April Aries new moon and all that Aries fire that's lighting up your community and your goals. So, this is a sudden urge to launch group projects, collaborations, or causes. Old wounds about not belonging may spike around this time. Right as you step into leadership, say yes to leading a circle, an online space, or a community experiment. And then fifth, that Uranus into Gemini end of April. Okay, Uranus is moving into your sign, Gemini. Okay. Oh my God. We know you're brilliant, Gemini, but now you're going to step forward and we're all going to learn from you. Electric awakening of your true self, your identity upgrades is going to feel almost restless. Okay. So if you're feeling ungrounded at this time, it's going to feel like a scattered identity and overwhelm and a frazzled nervous system for you, Gemini. Okay. But if you're tuned in and if you're going toward the higher energy of this, okay, you're going to have quantum leaps in your self understanding. Okay, you're going to be an absolute genius and your ideas are going to be absolutely brilliant. And it is going to be a reinvention of you with Uranus going through your sign. Your mantra for April, Gemini: I am brave enough to become the future self I have been dreaming of. It's been
Mm.
Gemini. I'm so excited. My oldest is a Gemini rising, so I can't wait for him.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Gemini, the first message is speak up, but not confrontationally, but with conviction. It's an interesting, I don't want to interpret it, but I'm just going to let it land. Old support systems collapsing in favor of something new. New levels of stability and congruency. So what I was seeing is old frameworks collapsing because they're no longer sustainable based on what you are here to do next. So the analogy is, if you want to build a castle, you cannot build it on a foundation that's made out of quicksand. You have to, level the sand, put on some concrete, and then from that space, build your castle. Otherwise, the foundation cannot support the weight of what you're building. That's a metaphor. Okay. So it might feel at first as if something is leaving you, something is collapsing, but it is in favor of something new, much better than what you expect. But in the time as it is collapsing, we naturally tend to go, ooh. Okay. If this is happening in your life, in whatever way, small, large, and between, don't try to spiritualize, everything happens for a reason. Yes, it does. Yes, we can say that. Honor that you're feeling a lot of anxiety. That's your fear going, oh my God, what's happening? That's your ego. Your soul already knows what's happening. And it's guiding this experience. So I said this many times before, 20 years ago, however long it was, if I wasn't let go of my job, I wouldn't be doing here right now because I would choose comfort over total disconfiguration of my life. Of course, right?
You're painting our entrepreneurial ship really pretty here. Yeah.
But
Truth.
if the
Truth.
universe didn't help me and gave me a boot, I would have stayed there for as long because I was unwilling to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah. So I am not saying things are going to collapse in your life. I'm saying we can see it in the world. Old systems are collapsing because where we're going, current systems cannot sustain us in a new way. So if you're a Gemini, there is something in the works for you that's better than what you've had up until this moment, but you have to be able to let it go and release it. And sometimes the universe is like, okay, if you're not going to do it, we're going to help you because you asked us for help. Right? Also, be like the fool, open, but not foolish.
Mm-hmm.
Resist making hasty choices if you can help it. So I can already see for you guys, if you're Geminis, that there is some reconfiguration happening in your life or will likely happen. Now, you can resist it. Of course, you can do that if you want to. But at a certain point, you're going to get tired of resisting. If you're listening to this, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're wanting something in your life that you don't have right now. Would that be the case for most people? Yes. Right? Whatever that is, you first have to let go of what is in order to experience a different experience. So if you're holding on and if you're resisting, you can't have that other vibrational experience. It's just not going to happen. Right? Now, letting go is not easy. I talked about it. Letting go is not easy. Letting go is hard. It requires us to go through the process. There's a grieving process. But ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever is happening with you guys, I'm not saying somebody else is going to die. That's not what I'm addressing. I'm just simply saying, for some of you, the old way of doing things is no longer working. And you probably know it. And you've been kind of sitting on your butt about it and not really doing anything about it. And the universe, but you've been asking for help. And the universe is like, okay, let us help you. And it's like, so you talked about the entrepreneurs, the new things. I can see that. Absolutely. That's the new beginning. And and the card is actually trust. Be open. Trust. Doesn't mean don't use discernment. Doesn't mean don't be foolish. But you have to be open to receive. You have to.
Yeah.
Right? So I hope that makes sense.
I'm excited for Gemini.
Yeah. It feels like a big, and
it's exciting. It
feels April, but I can see it going May. Like it's not April and that's it. It's not contained in the month. It's almost like it's a start of something big for them.
the
Yeah.
initiation. Yeah,
There you go.
for all of
There you
us,
go.
but yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's really exciting because with Uranus in your sign, I mean, like, because Geminis are already brilliant, but, like, it's gonna be next level brilliance for the Geminis. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait
Mm,
for them.
mm.
Yep. Cancer. First, let's talk about that Libra full moon. It's gonna be a relationship mirror for us all. For you, it's gonna be home and family dynamics are gonna show you where you lose yourself. Are you over nurturing? Are you under asking? Relationships at home mirror how much you're allowed to be I am without caretaking. One's tough for you, Cancer, I know. Reflect on this. If I lead from my truth, what happens to my emotional contracts in my home and family? It's going to be big for Cancers because Cancers want to nurture everyone. Let's talk about that Feb 20 initiation where the Saturn and Neptune met together at 0 Aries. So your career and your public identity began a subtle revolution. Feeling done with old work roles, yet unsure of the new. Pressure to align your outer work with your inner truth. That's what started for you on that Feb 20th initiation. So now the March 20th equinox, when the sun went over that same mark at 0 Aries, there were messages around purpose and they got louder. Conversations, signs, or opportunities pointed toward a new calling. Perhaps you were saying, I can't keep doing this. And that became harder to ignore for you. And then the fourth, let's look at that mid-April Aries new moon and where Aries is going to be flooding into your career house. Strong urges to pivot, promote, quit, or step up. There's going to be wounds around visibility and authority may flare. So fear of being judged, rejected, or failing might come up for you. Now, this is a threshold for claiming a more authentic public role and career for you. And then that fifth point about the Uranus entering Gemini, this is going to be end of April. And this is your inner world and your subconscious are going to get wired. Okay. Vivid dreams, psychic flashes, emotional downloads. So if you're feeling ungrounded, this could be anxiety and sleep issues and old trauma on repeat. But if you're tuned in and you're going toward the high vibe of this energy, this is going to be deep spiritual breakthroughs and intuitive upgrades. So your mantra for April, Cancer, I am brave enough to let my calling match my soul.
Mm,
Go ahead, Joanna.
mm. So, for Cancer, or for many of you, this energy seems to be concentrated around the idea of support. Okay, many of you will be questioning your support systems. You'll be asking yourself the question: is this really supporting me, or is it dragging me down? And you will be doing this not from a space of judgment, but from a space of clarity. So there's going to be some clarity. I saw you putting on a new role. So for those of you who are in the age where you work, you are somehow putting on a new role. Okay. For example, if you are in a role of an assistant, you're no longer playing the role of an assistant. Now you're putting on something much more substantial. So there is what's the word I'm looking for? Like a career advance.
Title change.
Thank you. Perfect. Career advance. However, and Jenny mentioned this, the energy may amplify some of your anxiety. Okay. Your anxiety may feel amplified. This is a time for you to pause and reconsider it. It's a period of re-evaluation around work, home, and probably most importantly, around your identity. And the question is this how I want to show up for myself? Is this how I want to be going forward? That's a huge identity shift. Okay. Whenever we shift identity, it's equivalent to the snake shedding its skin. It is challenging, it is confusing, it is anxiety provoking, because the foundation of who we have become accustomed to being is resolving and releasing. And in that moment, you ask the questions. Is this the right, do I really feel supported by this person? Do I really feel supported by this job? Do I really feel supported by this family? Do I really feel support? You're evaluating your entire support network. So if you've relied on a certain support network without questioning, and now you're going, like, now I have to actually be honest with myself. Is this actually good for me? That's going to feel a little bit destabilizing, because now you need to be honest with yourself. And now you have to look at the hard truth. Well, you don't have to, but the energy is guiding you towards it. Because unless you are true to yourself, with yourself, you cannot fundamentally be in your body and feel safe.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel safe, your nervous system will always be organizing around fear and anxiety, which means you will be holding yourself back. So there's a potential here that for most of you, I would say, in some way, shape, or capacity, where you are evolving out of your own confined identity. And as a result of that, you are questioning or reevaluating your inner structures, support structures, what belief systems support you or don't support you, and also external support systems. And I suspect there's going to be significant change for some of you in the dynamic within your family for some reason. It's going to change. It's not that you don't feel supported. It's not that I'm not going to interpret, but there is a significant shift in dynamic with relationships, but especially with family. Okay, so whatever that means for you guys, the card is called, well, it's actually 9 of Swords in a traditional tarot deck. It's actually called Rest and Reconsider, but because it came to me in reverse, it's showing me there's a resistance, which means anxiety. But this is actually time to reevaluate. And that's not just April, it's starting with April and going forward. And I see heavily in May as well. Okay. Because this is very apparent to many people. Many people are in their jobs and they fucking hate their jobs. So yes, it pays them a check, which is very important, but it sucks the life out of them. Right? What if we could be supported financially, but be engaged in something that actually fulfill us? What a dream. Now, the typical ego goes, well, that's not realistic. Well, if you believe that, it's never going to happen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that you said the Knight of Swords too, because when I read the tarot as a reader, the Knight of Swords for me is drama queen. And so it's like, if you need to escape the drama queens, or if you need to go toward being a drama queen and saying, no, I am going to go toward where I can be creative. I feel it's either or. You'll be able to interpret it for yourself, Cancer. Lots of shifts there.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Another big one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big energy in April. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? That was a deep laugh for April, everybody. Leo. Okay, so the Libra full moon is a relationship mirror for us all. Okay, so your words, ideas, and conversations become a mirror for you, Libra. Or sorry, Leo. Leo. I know I'm reading Leo. How you negotiate truth in relationships might come up. Okay, so where you soften or where you silence your voice to keep the peace might come up. Okay, so a reflection for you, Leo. If I speak as the leader that I am, which relationships will deepen and which ones will crack? Okay, so let's talk about that February 20th initiation for you, Leo. Okay, so that was when Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 Aries. So your belief systems began to change at that initiation point there. So old dogmas or borrowed truths got lost in a grip that they had on you, okay? So there was a sense of, I need a more authentic philosophy of life. That's what that February 20th started for you, Leos. And now what about that March 20th equinox when the sun came over that 0 Aries point, okay? So you're remembering there was, it came through teachings and mentors and courses or inner revelations. That's what was happening at the equinox. and you glimpsed a more expansive path, so possibly involving travel, study, or spiritual work. Now let's talk about the mid-April Aries new moon for you, Leo, okay? So the Aries inferno, it's lighting up your Voyager and teacher sector. So big urge to leap. So publish, preach, teach, travel, relocate. So there might be wounds around being wrong or being too much or being too dramatic. We were just talking about that on the last sign.
Mm-hmm.
And more of a rise for healing. So it's the perfect moment to initiate a bold project that shares your wisdom. And then the fifth point I'd like to talk about for everybody, it's that Uranus into Gemini end of April. So your community field is going to electrify. So sudden friend shifts, group projects, or social networks. So if you're ungrounded at this time, when Uranus enters Gemini on April 25, if you're ungrounded, Leo, okay? Drama in groups, social media overwhelm, comparison, projecting, that kind of stuff. But if you're tuned into this energy in its highest form, powerful collaborations, aligned communities, and future building. Your mantra for April, Leo: I am brave enough to live and speak a larger truth. Okay, Joanna, what are you feeling for the Leos?
It's interesting because the word for you guys, Leos, is balance and brilliance. So this activation energy of April is about rediscovering your own brilliance. So this is not about look at me, I'm brilliant. No, this is rediscovering more of your true, authentic self as a baseline. Okay, this is about seeing yourself differently. It's something interesting happens when you begin to see yourself differently. The world around you begins to shift as a result of how you see things. Okay? Because you are now looking almost like through a different lens. You're looking at yourself from a different lens. Speak up your needs. This will build confidence. So some of you who have some of you have been suppressing your anger. It's important to voice your anger, not by screaming at somebody, but expressing how you feel. Anger is a very real and natural emotion, and it's there to be expressed. If you have a lot of pent-up anger, then that doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the collective, especially because when you hold on to a lot of anger, that's a lot of heat, and it just creates a lot of anxiety. And suppressing it doesn't, when we suppress a lot of anger, then something goes, "Brah!" and then we blow up, right? So some of you would be good for you to express your own pent-up feelings and emotions. For some of you, it will be anger. And when you speak up your needs, and this is really important, this will help you build confidence. I already talked about that. So if you've been holding back a lot because you feel that your needs are unimportant, it's nonsense. If they're your needs, they're important. Let someone else decide if they're important or not. If they're important to you, they're important to you. If your needs are not important to somebody, then, well, you might want to question that relationship. You see what I'm saying? Right? You're learning how to rely on people and trust people to support you. So some of you might be coming from a space where you don't trust that either you will be supported by others or support is not going to be there for you. And what I heard was nonsense. The universe is always supporting you. Of course, we hear that often, right? Don't give up on your dreams, but be willing to release the when and the how. Okay. So the card that came through in traditional tarot deck is the Nine of Cups, which is basically wishes fulfilled. But because it showed up to me in reverse, what that was telling me is that don't give up on your dreams too quickly. Okay, but be willing to release the how and the when and in what package is going to arrive. We talk about that all the time, right? So, if your wish is to have $1 million, does that mean automatically that it's going to come true? Well, you might not get $1 million, but something might happen where you feel like $1 million. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fears around non-confidence. For some of you, Leos are feeling not confident, which is interesting because when you look at the lion, those are pretty
Yeah.
freaking confident animals, right?
Oof.
They're at
Right.
the top of the food chain. So it's like you're, thank you. You're growing into your skin. You're growing into
Yeah.
your skin. Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah.
Balance and brilliance. We all carry brilliance within us. We just don't necessarily feel that way about ourselves, but you know, so that's what I have for Leo.
Virgo. Okay, so that Libra full moon is a relationship mirror for all of us. For you, it's about money, values, self-worth. They are the mirror for you. Okay, so how you trade your time and energy in relationships might come up. Where you undercharge or overgive or stay small for safety. Something to reflect on at this Libra full moon for you is, if I lead from my true worth, what happens in my relationships with money and love? Okay, let's talk about that February 20th initiation where Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 Aries. So this was where your deep intimacy and your shared resources story began to shift. So old trauma or old entanglements around money and trust bubbled under the surface. So a long-term healing of power dynamics began at that February 20th initiation. So now let's look at the March 20th equinox initiation. This was a sacred remembering for you, Virgos. It arrived through conversations about merging commitment or debt. So you started to realize, I deserve clean, reciprocal energetics. Let's talk about that mid-April Aries new moon. And so all that Aries energy, this is torching your shared resources house. So this is an intense focus on joint finances, inheritances, investments, emotional and sexual intimacy. Wounds around betrayal and abandonment or control may reignite so that they can finally heal. This is a powerful time to renegotiate contracts or end unhealthy energetics. And then the fifth thing for you, Virgos, when Uranus enters Gemini end of April. This is your career and your public image electrifying. Okay, so sudden shifts in job, direction, or visibility. If you're in the shadow vibe of this energy, okay, anxiety about reputation and jumping in too fast. But if you're tuned in to the high vibe of this energy, this is about innovative career pivots, fresh professional identity. So a mantra for you in April, Virgo, I am brave enough to ask for energetic and material reciprocity. What did you get for Virgo, Joanna?
I want to show you the card first, just because of what you said at the last
Okay.
moment when you said being open. This is the image. You see
Yep.
how this being is open and the heart is, yeah, it's open.
Yes.
And this,
Beaming. Yes.
yeah, and this person is being supported by source. Okay,
Yes.
it's mid air. So that's just
Yep.
the metaphor. So for Virgo, the number 5 came to me as a symbology. To me, 5 represents change. Now we're all
Yeah.
going through change, so that's not unusual. But with changes come choices and options. And because you seem to be, for those of you who this resonates with, you seem to be at the end of a cycle. Naturally, when one cycle ends, things let go, and naturally another cycle begins, which things coming in. So it feels like you are in a, some of you are also breaking a lot of old cycles, self-limiting cycles. The message for you is no more conforming. It doesn't mean you don't follow human rules, but it does mean you don't confine yourself into a small box. This speaks to identity restructure. When I work with clients and they're going through their own identity shakeup, this is actually what I support them with. It's a very uncomfortable process. Okay. Majority of people just want relief. They say they want healing, but what they want is relief. We cannot have relief without facing what is making us feel stuck. Just not going to happen, right? So the message is that you're likely going to go through some identity restructure. Okay. Now think of it this way. Identity is limited in form. When you identify as something, it's like you're in a box, right? Now, it doesn't mean letting go of all identity as a human being, but if you hold a certain identity about yourself, let's example, please. I'm not worthy. If you hold on to that identity, that becomes your lifeline, right? And because it's been your lifeline all your life, you've learned to trust and depend on it. Letting that go and facing the unfamiliar is like, right? So letting go of old identity is a challenging process because it often does, almost always, create a bit of confusion. The confusion part is what's scary to most people and is what's most uncomfortable, because when there's confusion, there's no clarity. But before we can reach this other level, it's almost inevitable that we have to go through this confusion. And I feel like Virgo, for whatever is happening with you, is you will be experiencing some confusion on some level with respect to you shedding your old identity. Okay? You are letting go of holding yourself back, or at least not as much. And because you're in a space of change, you're being asked or invited to be flexible. To be flexible, right? We know that flexibility is good. If we're rigid, we create a lot of resistance. So the message here for you guys, if you're a Virgo, you're here like everybody else. You're here to shine. Okay? The only way you're not going to shine is when you hold yourself back. Well, why would I want to shine? Because that's what you're here for. What does it mean to shine? Well, what does it mean for you to shine? To be your authentic self. To be your bright, unique expression of source. That's what you're here for. So, and that feels wonderful, by the way. So, does it make sense what I said? Yes? Yeah, I felt it aligned with what you were saying. You said, I wanted, and then you were saying. So, remember, no more conforming, but it doesn't mean you don't follow human rules. But it just means you no longer put yourself in tiny, small, little tiny boxes. Because the more box you put yourself in, the more you limit what you get to experience. That's it. Right? So, that's what I have for you, Virgos.
Libra. Okay, so the full moon is in your sign. It's a relationship mirror for all of us, okay? This full moon in your sign spotlights exactly how much you've been bending to keep the harmony. It asks, what happens if you hold your I am line, even if it breaks some of the old peace? Okay. Something to reflect on is, if I truly lead my life, not just my relationships, who am I now? That February 20th initiation where Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 Aries, this was all about your partnership patterns beginning to dissolve. Old scripts of being the nice one, the diplomat, the caretaker, started to fray. A subconscious readiness to co-create differently is something that was seeded at that point. So the March 20th equinox point where the sun came over and Mercury and the North Node were conjunct, all on March 20th. So this was the remembering for you. So it came through specific people. So a partner or an ex or a new person or a client. Okay, so what you saw was, this is what my soul is done repeating in relationships. I am done with this repetitive cycle. The mid-April Aries new moon portal with all that Aries energy. So Aries is right across from you. Okay, so you're on the same axis, but it's the I am and you are the we. It's the we and the I am. The we and the I am. Aries and Libra always work together, right? So this was an intensity in relationships, passion, conflict, truth telling. This is about wounds, about abandonment, confrontation, or being unlikable. All that stuff is arising for you at that mid-April point. So this is a portal to start or renew relationships from a place of equality and honesty. And then fifth, that Uranus into Gemini end of April. So this is about your belief systems and your horizons getting electrified. Okay. So this is an urge to travel, study, or radically shift your worldview.
Yeah.
So if you're ungrounded at this time, at the end of April, if you're feeling ungrounded, this is a spiritual FOMO. So fear of missing out. Okay. This is scattered seeking. This is ideological arguments. But if you're tuned into this energy and the high vibe, this is liberating perspectives. This is new paths of teaching and learning. So what's your mantra for April, Libra? I am brave enough to be true, even if it's not always nice.
Hmm.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Joanna.
right. I have a Libra thing. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Just
you
realized
do.
that. Okay.
We both do.
Yeah, that's right. The first message is be practical, but take small risks. So there's a space somewhere in between where we need to be really practical, but there is a guidance here to take smart risks, right? Let's face it.
Nice.
If we don't take risks in life, then we're never moving forward. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the field is saying, you don't have to make huge risks. Sometimes those may be very fearful in the moment, but take smaller risks. And I feel like between now and the end of the year, if you're Libra or if you connect with Libra, it's like I see you having hands on a lot of things, which means there's a lot there for you to do. Manage your time and energy wisely. Okay. So obviously, if you're going to be doing a whole bunch of things, you're going to be taking some risks. It looks like these risks are manageable, but always use your discernment. This is also a time of planting the right seeds. The question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want for myself? What do I want for myself? Example. If you want a lot of money, I'll just throw that easy example. Then image yourself having a lot of money and then notice what it feels like. If it produces anxiety in your body, then that image is not feeling safe for you at this time. So you can be imagining wanting to have a lot of money, but if your nervous system is oriented around unsafety around money, it's going to be difficult for you to experience that. So that means that some shadows may come up so that you can go, oh, okay, even though I want this, my nervous system says, no, 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 that's not safe. So it feels like if you're Libra, you're going to be releasing some pretty profound, long-standing and ancestral fears. One of them, which is the most popular, is what if nobody wants me? What if I bring no value? What if I don't deserve? What if I'm not special enough? Okay, we're all special in our own unique way. And what I was shown is that life is going to give you the proverbial mirror effect. You're going to be facing a situation, maybe a small challenge, and that challenge is going to show you something about you. Something about you. You are ready to face some deeper layers, Libras, because it's like you're on a timeline. Gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. It's like I feel like there's a momentum with Libra, and it's like, okay, we gotta get through this. We gotta keep going because there's a lot of work there to do for you guys. The card is the proverbial Nine of Swords, darkest fears. But because it showed up to me in this reverse, it's telling me you guys are letting go or at least releasing some of the deeper layers of your fears. And those are existential fears. What's an existential fear? One of them is I'm not enough. That's an existential fear. Because when your entire existence depends on the belief that you are not enough, you're going to hold yourself back. So it affects everything you do. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah. For what I'm noticing, every sign, it's a big energy. It's really, really, it's like it's full and just there's so much possibility within that energy. It feels very concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
we
what I
need to
have.
get used to the new energies. That's what the universe is telling us, right?
Mm,
Because What's coming in end of July is completely brand new. So that's why I was saying your Peru retreat is like perfectly timed in
Mm,
September, because we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for
yeah.
July.
Remind us,
So, hey,
Jenny.
a big movement.
Remind us, Jenny. When is the full moon in April? What date is it?
So it's April 2. So
Oh,
it's
it
at
is
the
two.
very beginning of the month.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Because what I'm getting, and this is whether it's for Libra or everybody else, you might want to do like a full moon ceremony release. What I do is I write on a sticky note what I would like to release and just offer it to the moon. And sometimes I burn it, and the ashes I spray outside, or it could just be an intention. But what I'm getting is when we involve ourselves in that almost like a ritual, it's we're priming the energies. It's like we're priming the energies. So that energy helps us to let go of whatever it is we want to let go. Now, here's a caveat. If you want to let go of attracting something that's toxic to you, then you're going to be faced with that situation so that you can face it and deal with it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is not going to take anything away from you. It's going to give you the opportunity to go, here's an opportunity based on what you know now. How will you handle it? Will you perpetuate the same cycle, or will you say, no, thank you, I take a different path? That's empowering. So if a situation comes up, you're like, I thought I've dealt with it. Well, here's an opportunity for you to, to test for yourself. If it's coming up again, then doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's just there's an extra layer. Okay? Does that make sense?
Love it.
Yeah. All right.
Scorpio, okay, the Libra full moon, it's a relationship mirror for all of us. And for you, it's your unconscious, it's your hidden patterns, and they're going to be mirrored in your relationships. So old resentments, projections, or unspoken needs might surface. Relationships will show you where you've been silently sacrificing. Might want to reflect on, if I own my I am power, what secrets or unspoken truths might come into the light? Okay, that February 20th initiation, we're going to look at that for you, Scorpio. So that was when Saturn and Neptune were at 0 Aries. This was about your work, health, and service. So those stories were silently being rebooted. So there was a sense that you can't keep working or carrying on in the same ways. Okay, so there was a seed of a new rhythm of living more sustainably in your life. What was the March 20th equinox all about, when the sun came over that 0 Aries and Mercury and the North Node were together? What was that all about? There was messages through your body, whether it was through symptoms, okay, or schedules or work crisis, and you remembered, my energy is important and I must use it for what matters. Okay, let's look at that mid-April Aries new moon. So Aries is igniting your daily life, your body, your service. So there was a surge of drive to change your habits, your routines, or your work environments. So wounds might have been rising up around not being appreciated or being overworked. So it's an ideal time for initiating new health practices, boundaries, more daring use of your skills, and perhaps a new job. Okay, Uranus into Gemini, end of April. So your deep intimacy and shared resources go electric. So sudden changes in your joint finances, your investments, or your emotional bonds. If you're feeling ungrounded at the time of this very important Uranus into Gemini transit, might be an obsession, an anxiety about trust, control issues might come up. But if you're feeling really tuned in to the high vibe of this energy, liberation from old trauma bonds and more conscious merging. Here's a mantra for Scorpio for the month of April. I am brave enough to change how I serve and who I share with. Okay, Joanna, what did you get for Scorpio?
Message number 1, don't chase, allow, invite, or magnetize. So when we chase, we're generally chasing something that's running away from us. It's a lot of expenditure of energy. Okay. The message is simple. Don't chase, allow it, bring it to you, which means whatever it is that you're chasing, I'm presuming is you want, right? But if you have to chase it, then that means if you have to chase it, then it can't be yours. And it can't be yours because you're not aligned with it. So rather than chasing something, allow it to come to you. Example. If you're chasing a relationship, maybe the type of a relationship that you desire, you're not ready to receive yet. Maybe because you have some heart wounds around love, around being supported, loved, accepted, whatever it may be. And it's time for you to heal these wounds right now. Okay. When you feel safer within yourself, just being you, your entire being naturally relaxes. When your being relaxes, you naturally are more in an inviting space. So things flow more to you. When we are chasing, we're in resistance a lot. We're just, there's a lot of control. So the message is don't chase, allow. Some of you are at crossroads career-wise, or the way you express yourself. Okay, I think you mentioned something about career. And then I saw an image, and this was an example given, but maybe some viewers will resonate with this example. I saw a stay-at-home mom, and she was just focusing on being a stay-at-home mom. And then all of a sudden, she was out the door. She was busy with something outside of the home. So she found a new expression. So that's a metaphor. But you might be someone who is used to being a certain way, and now something new comes into your world, and the way it's like something about your life shifts. It shifts because you're now involved with something new or something different. Could be a job, could be something else, but it's the way you express yourself. Also, what's in your heart? Ask yourself the question, what's important for me? What's in my heart? And then ask yourself this question, what about it scares me? What about it scares me? Because that will reveal your fears to you around what's important to you. So for example, if what's important to you is love, like it is for everybody, what potentially about love scares you? Perhaps you learned that love hurts. Perhaps you learned that love means minimize yourself. Perhaps you learned that love also means rejection. If that's how you resonate with the idea of love, you're going to hold yourself back. So what is it that you want, number one, and number two, what is it about it that potentially scares you? If you want a lot of money, what is it potentially about it that scares you? See, we don't think about these things, right? Well, nothing about money scares me. Okay, did you grow up in an environment that when people said, if you've got money, you're evil? Well, of course, who the hell wants to be a bad person? But we don't think about these things because they're so entrenched. It's unconscious, right? But it's our programming in our unconscious that is very much responsible for how we create our experience. And the more conscious we become, the more consciously we can create. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the word on that card? Your finger was on it.
There was actually 3 cards. So again, the nine of Swords came up, right?
Again.
Facing your fears. Yes. Heart. This one, it's called Master. 15th. I forget what it is. I forget what it is in tarot. I don't read tarot. But what is the 15 in a tarot card? In a major arcana? Yeah. But this is, you're looking at your heart and how you have kept your heart behind bars, which means it cannot fully express itself. And there's always a reason for it. In other words, what's the pain still here? What's the pain? Because pain will hold us back, right? And last but not least, it's a new beginning. It's a brand new threshold. So notice, if you hold a lot of fear in your heart, there is no way in hell you're going to do this. No, because you're going to do this. You're not going to do this. Okay. Right? So there's a lot of healing happening in the heart, but it has a lot to do with your identity. Okay. if I'm not good enough, nobody will want me. So if I'm not good enough, I'm going to hold myself because I don't want nobody to want me. I'm just going to hold myself back instead. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I have for you guys. Yeah. The word confidence kept coming up a lot. Confidence. Every human deals with that. So you guys are not special, but you're getting an extra dose maybe, or maybe this is your area at this time, you know? All right.
Sagittarius. Okay, the Libra full moon is a relationship mirror for all of us. For you, it's about your friendships and your communities. They're going to mirror your leadership. So, do your friends support you or dim your boldness? Where you hide your big dreams and stay relatable, you might want to look at. Okay, and you might want to reflect on, if I lead with my true vision, which communities stay and which ones will fall away. Let's talk about that February 20th initiation where Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 Aries. So this was highlighting your joy, creativity, and your romantic life, starting a new chapter. So old ways of downplaying your creative fire began to feel intolerable. And the seed of a more honest and wild self-expression was planted. At the March 20th equinox, you remembered that you're meant to live passionately, not half asleep. Messages came through about art and children and lovers or creative impulses. So let's talk about the mid-April Aries new moon. So Aries is inflaming your creative and your romantic house. Okay, so big passion, sudden crushes, creative surges, the urge to play, wounds around rejection and being too much or failing publicly might come up for you. And it's a sacred time to start a passion project
Hmm.
or let your heart be seen again.
Hmm.
Let's talk about Uranus into Gemini, end of April. This is about your relationship house being electrified. So fast shifts and partnerships, maybe entering, maybe exiting relationships. So if you're ungrounded at the time of this Uranus going into Gemini, chaos in love life, chaos in friendships, scattered communities, arguments. But if you're in the high vibe of this time frame, this is fresh relationship dynamics that honor freedom and truth. So, a mantra for Sagittarius in April: I am brave enough to live like my joy is a holy assignment. What did you get for Sag, Joanna?
So a few things. Clear focus. I saw Sag having clarity. And this clarity was actually around something very specific. It was around resources. And what I saw was that there was a lot of support around you if you're Sagittarius, support or resources, but they were always there. It's just you were not able to see it before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I received was that in order for you to see all of that support and resources, it requires you to be honest with yourself. Another message is don't hold back. I felt a fuller expression coming out of you. And for some of you, it has something to do with either breath work, working with the breath in some sort of a healing capacity. Now, whether it is for you or for somebody else or both, I keep hearing breath work. Maybe you're being encouraged to practice breath work, which in and of itself is extremely healing because it can move a lot of emotions through. And just what I'm getting is just a fuller expression coming through. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to happen all of a sudden in April, but I feel like the April energy is quote unquote affording you. So there's also financial component here, affording you to express yourself this way. For some of you, you already know what you are quote unquote here to do, but you were not in a position to be able to safely do that. Whatever that means, whether because the resources were not there, the support was not there, or you were just too fearful of expressing your weirdness, right? What we used to think of weird as 5 years ago is pretty standard in our community, right? Right? So there's a fuller expression. There is, I want to say the word chakra healing. I don't really use that analogy too often, but it might resonate with you guys, with Sagittarius, chakra healing. Now, everybody knows conceptually that we can heal ourselves. Perhaps you are stabilizing your nervous system to the point where you can actually see the healing benefits of regulated nervous system, because it is very healing. So I suspect for those of you who this makes sense, is you are going through your own, oftentimes very difficult and arduous journey in order to embody the healer within you. The healer within you. So whether you're, again, energy healer, breathwork facilitator, whatever that means to you, I don't want to put you in a box, God forbid, but there is a fuller expression. And another message which is often comes in these moments: trust yourself. Trust yourself. You know, maybe a little bit at a time. Trust yourself, because there's something wants to come through you and out. It's a fuller expression. Is that if you get anything out of this one, fuller expression. Now, I'm realizing that's also mine, isn't it? It's my moon
It's your
thing.
moon.
What
It's your
does that
moon.
mean? What's a moon thing? What does that mean?
Your emotions and your feelings, your inner
Oh,
world.
oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll take the message of trust myself, because that's obviously a big one for me. And I'll take the words, the message of bigger expression. I'll take that. So there it is.
Okay, Capricorn. So this Libra full moon is going to be a relationship mirror for all of us. And for you, it's about your public role versus your needs. Okay, so relationships are going to show you where you overwork or you undershare your feelings. Others reflect how approachable or distant that you feel to them. Something to reflect on is, if I lead as my whole self, not just my role, how do my relationships respond? Let's talk about that February 20th initiation that happened when Saturn and Neptune came together at 0 Aries. This was about your home, roots, and inner foundations began to shift. Okay, so subtle tremors came up, and a sense that an old base, so your family patterns or your home structures, they can't hold the new you. The seed of emotional reconstructing was happening as well. So let's talk about that March 20th equinox point. You were remembering that through family conversations, moves, or memories, you saw which ancestral patterns you're done repeating. And this was a call to create a more supportive inner home. Let's talk about that mid-April Aries new moon and the pile up in Aries. This is setting your home and your emotional base ablaze. So moves, renovations, boundary discussions, or emotional confrontations. Wounds around safety or belonging or childhood may resurface. It was a powerful portal to choose the home and the family dynamics and the inner story that you truly want and desire.
Hmm.
So lastly, let's talk about that Uranus into Gemini end of April. Okay, so for you, this is about work and routines going to be becoming electric. So sudden changes in job and your structure at the job, daily rhythms, or health issues. So if you're feeling underground and shadow vibey at the time of this Uranus into Gemini, so it might come up as burnout or erratic schedules or anxiety. But if you're feeling tuned in and high vibe at the time of this Uranus in Gemini, this is more flexible. This is innovative ways of working and caring for your body. So a mantra for you, Capricorn, in April is, I am brave enough to build a new foundation that actually holds me. What'd you get for Cappies?
I'm laughing because just as you're saying it, I saw a vision of Capricorns holding onto something that is up in the air or unstable. So for some
Okay.
of you Capricorns, you're hooked onto something or someone that limits your expression. And whatever that does not feel safe, and it does not feel stable. Whether it's a relationship, job, whatever it may be. It could be a substance as well, okay? But for some reason, because you're holding on to it, some part of you believes that you need it in your life. So if you are hooked or attached to something that does not feel safe or stable, ask yourself this question: why am I holding on to it? What's the payoff? Perhaps you are not used to not feeling that way, which means it's a big familiar. It's interesting because we all want what we want, but at the end of the day, many times what we want scares us because of the relationship we have with it. So if you want to feel safe, but you've always felt unsafe, for you, the unsafe feeling feels like home. If you were to all of a sudden feel safe, it would be an unfamiliar territory for you, and your nervous system would go, is this safe? Is it going to last? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So also, whatever this means for you, whoever you are, there is considerable amount of drama tied into it. So
Okay.
if you are attached to some sort of drama and you're holding on to it for dear life, don't judge yourself for it, but ask yourself this question: how does this drama serve me? Okay. Sometimes it means cutting people out of your life. Yes. Sometimes it means distancing yourself from a certain members of family. Okay. It doesn't mean you cut them out, but you distance yourself at least until you get your bearings back. I don't know who I'm talking to. Okay. Don't try to, what is it? Don't try to fit someone else's shoes. Have your own shoes. So if you have been trying to become someone because someone else wanted you to become that person, then you basically spent your entire life trying to be potentially someone you're not. And if most of your life you pretended to be someone you're not, I can guarantee you at the very base of who you are, you're not happy. So fears around love and love relationships. There's some base fears coming up around love and relationships. One of the questions that's coming to mind, is it going to last? So for some of you, perhaps you're entering a new relationship. It doesn't have to be love, romantic, but some kind of a relationship. You know the saying, it's too good to be true, right? If we have that saying in our mind, it's because, well, we actually believe it's too good to be true. We must have a reason for saying that, right? So if we say, is it too good to be true? It's because we're still holding on to something that hasn't been processed yet. Right? And if it's too good to be true, it may be in front of you, but what you will do, which is what many people do, you're a self-sabotager. Okay, so there's some stuff, there's a lot of family stuff coming up for Capricorns. Some stuff around abandonment. Okay, maybe you felt abandoned by your family. There's some abandonment stuff coming up, and it just feels like a lot of cleanup for Capricorns. But again, the energy is all about initiation. Initiation is like an ignition. It's the recalibration sessions that I do with clients. It's a process, and it's very interesting. And I've been observing this over the last little while. Before things get better, things get topsy-turvy, because the recalibration requires person to go through a dismantling process. So this is kind of how I'm feeling this for Capricorns, going through some kind of a dismantling process. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Does that make sense what I'm saying? How I'm saying it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Aquarius. So we've got the Libra full moon. It's a relationship mirror for all of us. Okay, for you, it's about your beliefs and your truth telling and connections. It's going to get mirrored for you. So relationships show you where you censor your opinions or where you preach instead of truly relating. Something to reflect on at this Libra full moon. If I lead with my authentic voice, how do my relationships expand or contract? Let's talk about that Feb 20 initiation. So, for you, this was about your mind, your communication, and your local world beginning to change. So, the way you think, the way you speak, and you process information was entering a new era at that time. So, old mental loops started to feel not part of you anymore. Let's talk about the March 20th equinox. So, at this point, you remembered through key conversations, messages, or sudden insights, this is a clearer sense of the message that you're here to carry and that you can identify with. Let's talk about the mid-April Aries new moon. This is Aries igniting your voice and your mind. So, surge of ideas, courage to speak or to write or to teach. Wounds about being misunderstood and silenced or too weird might have surfaced. Excellent moment to begin new writing projects or speaking or teaching ventures. And then let's talk about Uranus into Gemini end of April. So this is your creativity and your romance being electrified. So sudden crushes, artistic breakthroughs, desire to play and experiment. So if you're feeling shadow vibe, not at your best at the time of this Uranus into Gemini, you might have scattered creative projects and you might have chaos in your romantic life. But if you're totally tuned in and going to the high vibe of Uranus into Gemini, this is like wildly inventive self-expression. This is passion projects. And this is new kinds of love for you. So a mantra for Aquarius in April. I am brave enough to say what I see, even if I'm the first one that sees it. What do you pick up for Aquarius, Joanna?
It's interesting because I was talking just a moment ago about the process that I go through with clients, and I was talking about how it requires a process. There's a period where there's a dismantling going on, has to happen. This is what I feel for Aquarius. Now, so I'm just going to show you the card first. It's called a rebuild, but it's a traditional tarot. I think that's called the Tower. Okay. So, the word is here, fairly self-explanatory, but in order to rebuild something, then something either has collapsed or is collapsing. Okay. That I want to scream this, but I won't scream. I just want to say it. That does not mean it's something bad, but it will have a tendency to jar your nervous system because it's change, and it's a big change.
Yeah.
Okay. So the month of April is all about safety. Now it makes sense why they said safety, because if there is a tower moment happening, the ego begins to protest and it begins to feel a little bit afraid, because that's what the ego does. That's its job. It's to protect us from unsafety, right? And when the proverbial tower starts to fall down, then it's like, what's happening? So it's never a great moment, but it is what it is. It is, quote unquote, the collapse of the old, so the new can come through, right? So you need a lot of grounding. That goes without saying. If we feel a lot of anxiety, what's the antidote? Grounding, because anxiety brings us to the heart, this chest, and the head. We're in ethers. What we want is to be in the body, because we want to be anchored in the body. So if you're experiencing some anxiety in this month, and everybody will, do some grounding, however, whatever that means for you. For some of you, you might experience some gut issues. Okay, it's going to affect your gut. And this is a very specific message. Some of you will have a specialist appointment. I don't know if it's with the gut or it's some other specialist appointment. I'm not getting that there's anything necessarily wrong, but if you've been waiting for an appointment, maybe you'll get a cancellation. You'll go in April. I don't know, but that's a very specific message. Also, some of you are tired of chasing something. So similar message to another sign. And so let me just see if I can expand on that. So when we chase things, oftentimes when we get it, we're so fucking exhausted, we can't enjoy it anymore. That's kind of the feeling I got. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now we have what this one is like, oh, fuck, I don't even want it anymore. That's the
Totally.
That's the energy that I'm feeling. So I'm not.
Totally. I thought I wanted this so bad, and now that it's here, no
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so perfect, because I'm trying not to analyze it, but that's how it came to me. And for some of you, just notice how you self-sabotage. We all do it. Just notice it. Just be
Right.
curious. It's like, okay, I'm sabotaging myself here. Okay, thank you. They're asking me to give an example of self-sabotage. Well, let's say you want to create something really nice for yourself, but there's a part of you that says, no, I'm not going to do this right now. You put things away, and you pretend, you just keep deflecting. And that's a part of you that says, that there scares me. So I'm not even going to focus on it. I'm just going to pretend it's not there. So that's an example of self-sabotage. Right. And
A
I think that,
classic one for Aquarius, I'll tell you, because Aquarius rules friendship. So a
okay.
lot of Aquarius people, they need all the friends. And so like a classic one of this would be like, I've got to get in the popular crowd. And you try so hard and you get there and they're not nice people. And you knew it all along. And you knew it all along. It's like, I tried so hard to get into this friendship group and now I don't want to even be here anymore. So that's
Yeah.
classic for Aquarius.
You know what else comes to mind? And this could be actually for somebody, like a true example. You might have been chasing some sort of a job or a career, and now that you finally
Yep.
have it, it's like, well, this is not what I'm supposed to feel like.
Yep. I don't like this.
Disappointment is like, so it is a period of dismantling for the purpose of rebuilding. Now, it's not just because you're Aquarius, everyone is going through it. It is a month of initiation, and this is going to spark new energy. And also, the spring equinox to me was shown as another portal, right? So we're recording it just a few days before that. So this new energy is also going to affect you in your own unique way. But whatever it is, what's on the other side is beautiful. The process of it coming apart is usually messy. But you know what they say? After the storm, there's always a calm.
Love it.
Yeah. All right.
Last, but certainly not least, Pisces. Okay, we've got a Libra full moon. It's going to be a relationship mirror for all of us. So your shared resources and your emotional entanglements are going to be mirrored for you. Okay, so where do you give too much without reciprocity? Relationships are going to show you how comfortable you are with receiving support. So something to reflect on at this Libra full moon. If I lead from my true power and worth, what happens to my bonds and my relationships? Let's talk about that February 20th initiation. Okay, so what happened there? There was a money and self-worth sacred reset happening right there. So old poverty spells, material or emotional, were quietly starting to dissolve. And a new relationship to value, material and spiritual, was being seeded. And let's talk about that March 20th equinox. What was that all about for you? You were remembering through signs around you about finances, body, or self-esteem that there was a nudge saying, my worth cannot be outsourced. And then let's talk about the mid-April Aries new moon and all that Aries energy. So what was this blazing for you? This was blazing through your income and your value sector. So strong urges to change how you earn and what you tolerate. So wounds about deservingness or asking for too much were starting to rise up in order to be healed. So this was a potent time to start new prices, change your income streams, and embody your worth. And then lastly, let's talk about that Uranus into Gemini happening at the end of April. For you, this is lighting up your home and your inner life. So changes in your living situation, changes in your family dynamics, or your inner emotional worth. So if you're feeling ungrounded at the time of this Uranus into Gemini end of April, you might feel restless and scattered at home and with your emotions. But if you're feeling totally in tuned and high vibration at this time, this is going to be a liberation from old family patterns. And there's going to be a fresher and a freer home energy. So, a mantra for Pisces in April: I am brave enough to act like I matter in every choice that I make. What did you get for Pisces, Joanna?
It's pretty much the same message, just using different words. So, which I love when that happens. Okay, so
Yeah.
first message is, and I know it's also for me, stop procrastinating. Okay. And I'll take that one. If you're Pisces, you're back and forth on something, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
The question is, whatever it is that you're back and forth about, whatever that is, if you knew that it would succeed, would you still feel as hesitant? If the answer is yes, then that means you're hesitating because you don't believe in what you offer. And the message was, what you offer is very valuable. Do you see it as such? If not, why not? So there is a feeling of wanting to, something wants to come through, but it's like, not yet, not yet. It's like you're stalling. I certainly can recognize that you're stalling. And that's because I can see it very clearly. You're stalling because what you're wanting to offer, it's not that you don't believe in it. You're afraid others won't believe in it. Here's the deal. Thank you, universe. You're not here to convince anybody of anything.
No.
You're not here to tell people what to do. You're not here to tell people that what you offer is the only thing there is. No. You're just showing your authentic flavor. Those who will resonate with it will. Those who will not resonate with it won't. Those who won't resonate does not mean that it's something you've done wrong. They're just in a different category of what they need. Now, okay, thank you. I'm going to share this with you. Jenny's very much aware of this. I have a YouTube channel and we have a podcast, and the human part of us wants to look at the numbers, how many people are watching, because it tells us human that if people are watching or listening, that means there is something valuable to offer, right? It's just let's face it, that's what it is, right? Those who have no attachment to it, bless their hearts. I'm not there yet. However, often the types of things we talk about are the things that a lot of people don't necessarily want to listen, because we are not giving people a blue or red pill. We're not giving people any pills. We're just saying, this is the process, and it's often hard. In other words, we're very honest with saying, your life is not going to change in 3 weeks, because that doesn't happen. Very rarely. We're just brutally honest in expressing our experience and the experience we have with our clients. So my human thinking goes, well, I'm only getting so many views. And the mind goes, well, that means I might not be offering something that's valuable. And the universe is, no, 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 no. Think of it in terms of what you're offering. Some people are ready for it. Most are not. Doesn't mean anything bad. It just means your information, what you offer, is resonating with certain people at this particular time. So it's not that it's not valuable. It's just that the value in which you engage, only certain individuals are ready for. Now, we know this, right? Conceptually, but the mind still is like, but, right? So does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. I know it's significant
Pisces
for
is
me.
so foggy. Pisces can be so brain foggy.
Mm.
And there's been so many planets in Pisces. It's been hard for Pisces. And so that's why at the very beginning you were saying making a decision. It's like, I'm procrastinating because I don't really know what to do. It makes so much sense because, like, there has been so much Pisces energy, including Mercury in Pisces, or yeah, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and, like, people don't make decisions
Mm,
if you're not used to this kind of energy, so
yeah. So I'm going to
the
show you
brain
the.
fog is lifting, I promise. It is
Um,
lifting.
a lot of it is around confidence. So solar plexus also, you might have some digestion stuff in the month of April, or your digestive tract may flare up. Doesn't mean there's something wrong. It just sometimes energetically things flare up. And letting go of holding yourself back. I'll take that.
Mhm,
I'll take that.
mhm,
Does that mean that if you have some non-confidence, tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to be 100% confident? No, that's not how it works. But you're going to feel a little bit more courageous about what you're here to do. And despite of the
mhm.
fact that you're questioning yourself, you're like, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway and just see what happens. Yeah.
This
So,
Aries energy is gonna help Pisces.
mm,
This yeah, it's gonna help us all, but, you're finally gonna take that leap. We need new spiritual leaders. The false gurus are falling and have fallen, and, Pisces is pretty much the most spiritual sign, and we need some new spiritual leaders, so
mm,
you'll know what to do soon enough.
mm.
You'll know
That's
what
it.
to do.
That's it. All right.
Amazing.
Hmm.
There's April energy for you. No big whoop, just a huge initiation month.
Just a little one. Just a little one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember we do have this Demystifying Divinity
Demystifying divinity
podcast.
on
The
Apple and Spotify.
Yes, the link is down below if you're watching it on YouTube. Do let us know how these resonates with you. And just a reminder, when I bring this information, most of the time it makes no sense to me. So I don't know. So I'm almost like depending on you to let me know, does this make sense to you? And sometimes it's not going to make sense to you until later.
Mhm,
But yeah, do comment. Let us know how you're feeling. How is this energy? How are you dealing with this energy? Because there's a lot of, it's a lot. It's a lot. Energetically, it's a lot. And
it's
of
a lot.
course, if any of us, if Jenny or I could be of help to you, Jenny offers astrology. I offer recalibration work. If you're interested to know what that means, there's also a link down below. So with that said, have yourself a fabulous April. And we look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye.
Bye.